chosen one. Listen closely this morning was not ordinary. Heaven watched as you woke, as you whispered your first words, as you chose faith over fatigue. The moment your eyes opened, light gathered around your spirit. You didn't rise by habit, you rose by purpose. God saw the quiet intention that lingered in your chest, the decision that said, "I will not drift today." You may not have realized it, but the instant you chose to face the morning with faith, heaven took notice. Do you understand the weight of that? Chosen one, you may think it was just another sunrise, but in the courts of heaven, it was a moment of revelation. God saw that even in your weariness, you still said yes. Even with unanswered prayers, you still bowed your head. The universe paused for a heartbeat to witness your loyalty. There are many who proclaim faith when life is easy, but few who stay when silence feels endless. Yet you stayed. You kept your post. You proved to God that you can be trusted when no one is clapping for you. This is not a coincidence. This morning was a divine examination. Heaven didn't test you to break you, but to reveal you. As the apostle reminds us in his letter to the Corinthians, chapter 15, verse 58, "Therefore, beloved brothers and sisters, be steadfast, immovable, always abound in the work of the Lord. Your labor is not in vain." That verse is not just ink on paper, it is a mirror of what happened in your life today. The Father saw that your faith did not waver with emotion. You anchored yourself in His promise. Even when feelings tried to drag you into doubt, that steadfastness is what distinguishes the chosen ones from the crowd. When you rose this morning, you didn't just start another day, you answered a roll call from heaven. You stood in spiritual formation, reporting for duty. The angels who stood by you in your darkest hours whispered, "They're still standing." The light that radiates from your obedience is not visible to human eyes, but in the spirit realm, it burns like a torch in the fog. There was a battle over your morning. The forces of distraction came early, whispering, "Stay in bed, don't pray, don't believe." But your spirit rose first. You silenced the enemy without shouting a word. That is why heaven calls you proven. Every act of consistency in silence carries more power than 1,000 loud declarations made in public. You need to understand something deeper. God does not measure commitment by emotional highs, but by silent obedience. When you do what is right, even when no one is watching, that is when the divine registry updates your record. Heaven does not just listen to your words, it measures your responses. This morning, your response to delay, fatigue, or frustration was faith, and faith always triggers divine attention. Some angels move by command, but others move by evidence of faith. And today, they moved because of you, chosen one. Your morning decision created a ripple that will outlive this day. The seed you planted in the unseen will bloom when you least expect it. Every tear of endurance, every whispered prayer, every breath of faith is forming tomorrow's harvest. You may not have seen lightning or heard a trumpet, but heaven did. A record was made in your name. Your commitment today proved that you are ready for the next dimension of assignment. Heaven promotes based on consistency, not convenience. There are people who talk about being chosen, but then there are those who live it, and you, beloved, are among the latter. You have stepped into a level of trust where heaven knows your word can be counted on. God has seen you fail before. Yes, but what matters is that you kept coming back. You proved that surrender isn't a one-time act, but a daily posture. So today, stand firm in that awareness. Heaven saw you. Heaven heard you. Heaven marked your obedience. You are no longer being tested for proof. You are being positioned for purpose. And now, as you sit here, hearing these words, the Spirit is whispering, do not grow weary. Keep your fire alive. Keep your heart pure. What you began in faith will not end in vain. If this message speaks to you, if you know deep within that God saw your faithfulness this very morning, then let your declaration be seen in the comments below. Comment 111 to signify divine alignment. To say, Lord, I am still committed. I am still standing. And if this word reached your spirit, take a moment to like, share, and subscribe, not out of routine, but as an act of faith to spread the light that is in you, because heaven is watching, and your obedience today may awaken another chosen one tomorrow. There was a moment this morning, chosen one, that you didn't even recognize as a test. It came quietly, disguised in ordinary choices, the pause before a decision, the whisper of impatience that tried to steal your peace, the subtle thought that said, does any of this really matter? But you didn't yield. You held steady, unaware that heaven was watching the stillness of your spirit as closely as the movements of your hands. And in that sacred pause, something eternal happened. The very heavens leaned closer, even silence had weight. The Father looked upon you and whispered to the angels, behold, the one who does not waver. The moment passed, unnoticed by the world. But eternity recorded it in light. Every chosen one has these moments, small, invisible decisions that shift destinies. You may never know which choice heaven is watching. But each time you choose faith, you strengthen the bridge between your soul and divine purpose. Your stillness today was not emptiness, it was alignment with heaven's rhythm. It wasn't a thunderstorm of temptation or a dramatic trial. It was silence that measured your heart, the kind of silence where heaven says, let us see what they do when no one is watching. And you passed, without witnesses, without applause. You passed. Your faith didn't need an audience. And that's what makes it genuine. The hidden test you faced this morning was never about success or failure in the world's eyes. It was about proving to heaven that your obedience is real, even in secret. Every chosen one is tested in silence before being trusted in sight. The Father needed to see that you would honor him without confirmation, that you would choose truth, even when it cost you comfort. There was a divine stillness over your home as the test unfolded. The angels assigned to your destiny stood back for a moment, not to abandon you, but to let you reveal who you truly are when the spotlight fades. And you revealed faith. You revealed loyalty. You revealed love that is unshakable, as was spoken in the sacred texts of old. From the book of Job, chapter 23, verse 10. But he knows the way that I take when he has tested me. I will come forth as gold. Those words echo through the chambers of eternity. They describe exactly what happened in your spirit today. The test was not punishment, it was purification. Every fire that touched your emotions, every delay that stretched your patience, every quiet disappointment that tried to weaken your hope was heaven's refining tool. You didn't lose anything today. You were being refined into something eternal. Do you see it now? The test wasn't about whether you would win or lose. It was about whether you would still trust. And you did. That's why the silence felt heavy, because heaven's eyes were on you. Every angel, every watcher, every unseen witness leaned closer to see if your heart would remain true. And it did. This is how God elevates his chosen ones, not through comfort, but through testing. The unseen trials become the gatekeepers of the next level. You have walked through that gate without realizing it. The peace that suddenly entered your spirit after your quiet endurance that was not coincidence. It was heaven's approval settling over your life like gentle light after a storm. There's something powerful about hidden obedience. It carries a fragrance that only heaven can recognize. When you did what was right without validation, you sent a signal to heaven that said, "I serve because I love." And love is the purest proof of loyalty. The unseen tests are often the hardest. No one claps when you forgive in silence. No one applauds when you choose integrity over convenience. Yet, those moments shape the spiritual giants of history. Every prophet, every apostle, every chosen one had to pass through the narrow gate of silent obedience. You have just done the same. Remember this truth. The test is always smaller than the reward it protects. What you faced this morning was not an obstacle, it was a verification. Heaven needed proof that your faith wasn't just for the good days. You've given that proof. Now, what is being unlocked for, you will not be taken away. You may feel weary, but that is the residue of warfare, not weakness. What remains in you after the test is strength refined by grace. You've gained something priceless, spiritual credibility. Heaven knows your yes means yes. So, rest in that awareness. Let peace settle over you. Not the peace of this world, but the peace that comes from knowing that God Himself has seen your heart and found it faithful. You passed the silent test, and heaven has taken note. There was a moment you almost gave up. Chosen one. The weight felt heavier than usual. The road stretched longer than it should. You questioned if your prayers were still heard, if your tears still mattered. The morning light didn't feel like hope. It felt like pressure. And yet, somewhere deep in your spirit, you whispered, "Not today. I will not surrender." End of 2. Heaven heard that whisper. It may have sounded small, but in the realm of eternity, it thundered louder than a shout. Every angel assigned to your life paused in awe, because God saw you reach the end of yourself and still choose Him. The moment you could have quit became the moment you were crowned with resilience. You have to understand something. Sacred God does not test strength by ease. He refines it through resistance. When your faith collides with fatigue, heaven observes how your heart moves. You could have said, "I'm done." But you said, "I'll try again." And that choice carried prophetic weight. When no one sees your battle, when encouragement is absent and comfort feels far away, heaven still watches. Your endurance in those moments is not unnoticed. It's the language of loyalty. Faith isn't proven by miracles seen, but by the perseverance you display when nothing moves. As Jesus Himself declared in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 11, verse 28, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." No, you didn't come to Him with confidence. This time you came broken. You didn't bring strength, you brought surrender. And He called that beautiful. Every tear, every trembling word of prayer this morning was a seed sown into eternity's soil. You may have thought you were surviving, but heaven saw you sowing faith. When your spirit was close to collapse, that's when grace began to multiply. God doesn't let his chosen ones fall into despair without releasing new oil into their hearts. That's why, even after you said, "I can't take another step," something inside whispered, "Keep going." That whisper was not your mind. It was the Spirit of God breathing perseverance into your bones. The breaking point was actually the birthing point. You didn't know it, but the moment you refused to quit, heaven released a new chapter over your life. You rose not by strength, but by grace. That is how divine warriors are made, not by ease, but by endurance. There's a depth to you now that wasn't there before. The world can't see it, but heaven can. Your faith has matured into something unshakable. You are no longer chasing blessings. You've become one. Your light now carries healing for others who are still in the struggle you just survived. Do you see how sacred that is? You are walking evidence that endurance works. Every step you took through pain trained your spirit to trust what you couldn't see. And now, when storms rise again, you will not crumble. You'll remember this morning. You'll remember that you've already proven your heart's strength once before, and you'll do it again. There is something about divine exhaustion that births divine purpose. When you reach the point of tears, heaven reached the point of release. What you thought was the end was only an unveiling. The breaking didn't destroy you, it purified you. Chosen one, you carry a testimony that will soon ignite others. The very pain that tried to silence you will become the power that delivers them. Your survival is a sermon. Heaven will echo through others' hearts. What you endured privately will speak publicly. Now, pause. Take a deep breath. Feel the stillness that follows the storm. That's not emptiness. That's the sound of heaven rebuilding. You are standing in sacred recovery, where God restores what weariness tried to steal. There's a quiet pride in the Father's heart tonight. You didn't give up when quitting made sense. You didn't walk away when comfort called. The record stands, you stayed. And because of that, something in the spirit realm has shifted permanently in your favor. So, here's what I want you to do. Chosen one. Comment, still standing. Those two words are not just text. They're a declaration that you survived what was meant to break you. When you write it, you're saying to heaven, I am still here, still faithful, still burning. And write it not for validation, but for confirmation, because every time you affirm it, you remind darkness that its assignment failed. You remind your own soul that it was never your strength that sustained you, it was divine grace. And in that grace, you rise again. You are proof that even when the weight grows unbearable, your spirit cannot be broken. What you carried today was heavy, but you carried it with honor. And because of that, heaven has already begun preparing the reward for the one who refused to quit. Angels recorded your yes. That is not poetry, it is reality. Heaven has scribes, celestial witnesses who write not in ink, but in light. When you whispered your surrender this morning, when you said, yes, Lord, I'll keep walking, your words became radiant threads woven into the eternal archive of faith. Every chosen one leaves such marks. You did not realize it, but you have already written another page of your story in heaven's library. Your yes was small, maybe even shaky, but that is what made it powerful. Heaven does not need perfect voices, it seeks willing ones. God does not measure tone or eloquence, He measures truth. And your yes was true. It wasn't forced by fear, nor driven by the desire for reward. It came from love raw, unfiltered, enduring love. As the Spirit spoke through the prophet Jeremiah, chapter 17, verse 10, I, the Lord, search the heart and examine the mind, to reward each person according to their conduct, according to what their deeds deserve. That verse was fulfilled in your life this morning. God searched your heart and found loyalty where fatigue lived. He examined your thoughts and discovered gratitude where frustration once stood. Your yes, spoken in the quiet of dawn, reached further than you imagine. It traveled beyond the walls of your room and echoed in heaven's corridors. Every time you say yes to God, you shift realities. Every time you submit to His will instead of your impulse, you participate in divine alignment. Your yes this morning wasn't just personal, it was cosmic. It gave heaven legal permission to move on your behalf. When you said yes, angels were dispatched. Their wings stirred in readiness. The very atmosphere around your life adjusted to make room for what that yes activated. Heaven's record keepers noted it. Heaven's messengers responded to it. And heaven's favor surrounded it. Most people underestimate what a single act of obedience can birth. They think the great moves of God require grand gestures, but the truth is simpler. The greatest shifts begin with whispers of surrender. You whispered, and heaven heard a roar. This morning, your yes disrupted the enemy's calculation. Darkness expected your silence, but you spoke. Despair expected your retreat, but you stood. That is why the air around you feels different. You have changed frequencies. You are no longer operating from desperation. You are walking in divine determination. Sometimes the yes you give doesn't change your situation immediately, it changes you. God often uses obedience to prepare the vessel before He fills it. The blessing may not appear yet, but the foundation is already forming inside your heart. That is where the miracle begins. Your yes carries lineage weight, somewhere in your bloodline. There were ancestors who faltered, who gave in, who couldn't carry the assignment, but you, by saying yes, became the repairer of that breach. You stepped into the divine continuum, where what was lost in generations past is being redeemed through your obedience now. Angels rejoice not because you spoke words, but because you made a choice that honors eternity. Every yes you give becomes a testimony that God still finds faithfulness on the earth. Even when nations tremble, even when voices grow cold, heaven still hears the echo of one obedient heart, and today, that heart was yours. Understand this. Chosen one, your yes is not a single event, it is a lifestyle. Every morning God invites you into partnership, and each time you accept, the bond deepens. That is how the chosen are transformed from servants into stewards, from wanderers into witnesses. The beauty of your obedience is that it ripples. Someone near you, maybe a friend or family member, will be strengthened because of your quiet consistency. Light always multiplies. The angels recorded your yes, but people will witness its fruit. There is a fragrance that follows those who walk in surrender. It cannot be imitated or manufactured. It is the scent of peace, the aroma of divine favor resting on an obedient soul. You may not feel it, but others will. They'll sense something pure, something steady, something sacred, and they won't even know. It began with your yes. When heaven records a yes, it doesn't fade. It becomes eternal evidence that God's grace can still inspire loyalty in human hearts. Your name is now written beside that evidence. And one day, when your life is reviewed before the throne, that record will still glow. Chosen one. The angels wrote your yes today. Heaven has proof that you can be trusted. And because of that, the next instructions will come, not as burdens, but as honors. God only reveals more to those who have already obeyed with little. Your yes opened that door. You are not being overlooked, you are being observed. Heaven doesn't rush reward, it perfects timing. The one who says yes when nothing changes becomes the one who reigns when everything shifts. Hold to that truth. Your yes has already changed more than you can see. The shift in the spiritual realm has already begun. Chosen one. You may not feel it yet, but heaven felt the tremor when you said yes. The unseen has started to rearrange itself in your favor. What looked delayed is now being realigned. What once resisted you is now losing authority to stand against you. The moment your obedience touched the atmosphere, darkness began to lose its grip. The enemy once counted on your exhaustion to silence you, but your endurance rewrote the script. You didn't fight with swords or noise, you fought with faith. And faith always moves unseen mountains first. There are angels at work now, in places your eyes cannot reach. There are hearts softening, doors unlocking, paths clearing. The ripple of your obedience has reached beyond your physical world and entered the courts of heaven's strategy. According to what is revealed in the book of Proverbs, chapter 16, verse 3, commit to the Lord whatever you do, and he will establish your plans. Lo, that verse has come alive around you. Your commitment this morning has given heaven the blueprint to start building what your prayers envisioned. What seemed still is not still, it's simmering. Divine plans are like seeds buried under soil, unseen, but never asleep. Think of the spiritual realm as an ocean, vast and unseen beneath the surface of your daily life. Every act of faith you make drops like a stone into that sea. The ripples travel farther than you can imagine, touching shores you've never walked on. Your prayer today reached someone you may never meet. Your forgiveness this morning changed the course of a conflict you didn't even know existed. Heaven moves through the faithful, and when you stay faithful long enough, you start to sense the water shifting beneath your feet. The resistance lessens, the light grows warmer. That's the realm adjusting to your alignment. Some of you wonder why battles increase right after obedience. It's because darkness fears stability. Every time you decide to stand firm, you threaten the chaos that once controlled your life. The shaking you feel isn't failure, it's foundations forming. You're not losing, you're leveling. Chosen one. You are now walking in a zone of divine rearrangement. Old connections are being pruned, new ones are being planted. Old fears are dissolving as purpose takes root. The spiritual tectonics beneath your life are moving. Heaven is carving out a new landscape where the promise can take form. There's beauty in what you don't see yet. You are standing on sacred ground that looks ordinary, like a seed in soil. You are hidden not to be forgotten, but to be fortified. Everything silent right now is actually strengthening you. The spiritual realm responds to generosity the same way it responds to obedience with multiplication. When you share light, Heaven increases your glow. When you pour into others, God pours into you. That's why what you give never really leaves you. It circles back as harvest. If this message has watered your spirit, consider watering it back. When you like, share, or subscribe, it's not just a digital act, it's a declaration. It's saying, let this light reach another heart. Your simple click becomes a spark that could awaken someone who's losing hope right now. And if your heart feels stirred to donate, do it not as a transaction, but as a seed. Every offering, no matter how small, becomes a candle that fuels this fire of faith. Think of it like rain falling on soil. You may never see how far it travels, but heaven does. Each drop counts. Each act echoes. You are part of something living, breathing, divine. Every word you help spread multiplies hope in unseen corners of the world. Someone will rise tomorrow because you chose to share light today. Someone will feel God again because you refused to stay silent. That is what partnership with heaven looks like. It's not obligation. It's overflow. So, even as the unseen world shifts, remember this: you are both the messenger and the miracle. You're walking proof that obedience releases movement in places beyond sight. There's a reason you're hearing this now. Heaven wanted you to know that your alignment isn't in vain. The shaking you sense is confirmation, not confusion. You are standing between two seasons, the breaking of old limits and the birthing of new purpose. When the wind of change blows, don't resist it. Let it carry you higher, like an eagle that trusts the air beneath its wings. Rise on the currents of what you cannot control. God is steering you into a dimension where favor becomes natural and breakthroughs feel effortless. Chosen one, lift your eyes. You're not just enduring anymore, you're evolving. The shift that began this morning is heaven's signal that you're ready for greater authority. Keep walking, keep believing, and keep shining. The realm has already responded to your yes. The only thing left to do now is to stay steady in the movement and watch as heaven fulfills what your faith has already built. Heaven's approval is not a sound, it's a presence. You may not hear trumpets or see lightning, but you can feel it. Chosen one, that quiet peace sitting on your spirit tonight, that stillness after the storm of emotion, is God's silent applause. You didn't chase validation, you chased obedience. And because of that, heaven has placed its invisible seal upon you. When heaven approves, it doesn't always announce. Sometimes it simply surrounds. The approval of God is like oil, unseen but undeniable. It seeps into your words, your thoughts, your atmosphere. People won't know why they feel warmth when you walk into a room, but it's because the residue of divine approval travels with you. This morning's yes wasn't just heard, it was sealed. The Father took your obedience and pressed his mark upon it. That seal means you now carry spiritual authority that no man can revoke. It's not about titles or positions, it's about permission. Heaven's permission for your voice to carry weight, your prayers to pierce through barriers, your life to bear fruit, even in famine. As the ancient words recorded in Romans chapter 8, verse 30, and those he predestined, he also called. Those he called, he also justified. Those he justified, he also glorified. Oh, that is what happened today. Your calling wasn't reissued, it was reaffirmed. God reminded every opposing power that your name is written in glory. You've been justified through obedience. And now glory rests upon you, not the loud kind that demands attention, but the steady kind that cannot be hidden. Heaven's approval looks different from human applause. People celebrate moments. God celebrates motives. You might think no one noticed your quiet sacrifices, but heaven counts them all. Every unseen act of kindness, every time you loved when it was hard, every prayer whispered through tears, it's all been collected, weighed, and found worthy. When the Father seals you, even hell takes notice. You become untouchable in the ways that matter most. The storms may still blow, but they will not break you. The attacks may come, but they will not prevail. The seal of divine favor becomes a spiritual mark, a reminder to every opposing force that you are covered. Chosen one. This seal is not temporary. It is eternal. It shifts your spiritual identity from tested to trusted. You no longer walk as one who is proving yourself. You walk as one who has already been approved. That's why the battles that once drained you now expose your growth instead of your weakness. You might notice that certain things don't move you like before. The same voices that once hurt you now sound distant. That's not coldness, that's maturity. Heaven's approval changes your sensitivity. You begin to discern what deserves your attention and what doesn't. God's seal also attracts new assignments. Once heaven approves a vessel, it begins to pour through it. Opportunities that match your character will start appearing. People who carry the same light will be drawn toward you. It's not coincidence, it's coordination. Heaven builds networks of the faithful. Sometimes the seal of approval feels like isolation before it feels like elevation. That's because God hides what He has anointed. He protects what He plans to reveal later. You may feel unseen right now, but that's divine discretion, not neglect. When the appointed time comes, the same God who sealed you will spotlight you. And when that day comes, you won't need to prove yourself. Your fruit will speak. The peace in your presence, the wisdom in your words, the power in your prayers, all of it will testify that you've been touched by heaven's hand. There is a calm confidence that comes with being approved. You no longer strive to be understood. You rest in being chosen. You stop chasing recognition because you've already received revelation. You realize that heaven's yes outweighs the world's no. Oh, let this truth settle deep within you. You don't need to do more to earn approval. You simply need to walk in what's already been given. The seal is permanent. The favor is active. The evidence will follow. Now, if this word resonates with your spirit, pause for a moment. Feel that peace sitting on your heart. That's heaven nodding in agreement. And as a prophetic act, as a declaration that you acknowledge what God has sealed, comment 444 below. Not as a superstition, but as a sign. That number represents divine stability, the balance of faith, purpose, and protection. When you type it, you're saying, Lord, I receive the seal. I walk under your approval. It's a spiritual agreement written through your fingertips, a reminder that you're standing on solid ground, surrounded by the unshakable presence of God. The seal has been placed. Chosen one. Walk in it. Speak from it. And rest under it. Heaven's mark is upon you, and no force on earth can erase what God has written in light. When obedience outweighs comfort, heaven smiles. There are few things more sacred than the moment a chosen one denies their own desire to honor divine direction. You did that, and heaven noticed. In that instant, your decision became a sound, a frequency that resonated in the spiritual realm. Every act of surrender creates a vibration that heaven amplifies. And your yes this morning was louder than 1,000 songs. You may not have realized it, but you walked away from something today, something that once promised ease. Maybe it was a thought, a habit, an attitude, or even a familiar place that felt safe. But God whispered, "Let it go." And you did. That moment of obedience, quiet and unseen, carried more power than 1,000 declarations, because obedience is worship. It's love in motion. As heaven speaks clearly through the words in Deuteronomy, chapter 5, verse 33, "Walk in obedience to all that the Lord your God has commanded you, so that you may live and prosper and prolong your days in the land that you will possess." And that scripture isn't merely instruction, it's revelation. Obedience doesn't limit you, it liberates you. The world teaches comfort as reward, but heaven teaches that true life flows through surrender. Every time you choose God over convenience, you lengthen your days of peace. You widen your territory of favor. You deepen your roots in eternity. It wasn't easy, was it? The flesh wanted relief, but your spirit wanted righteousness. You stood in the tension between what feels good and what is good, and you chose holiness. That is the essence of divine maturity. It's not that temptation vanishes, it's that love grows stronger. You no longer obey out of fear of punishment. You obey because you trust His heart. Heaven often hides its greatest blessings behind doors labeled sacrifice. When you walk through them, the world calls you foolish, but heaven calls you faithful. The act you took this morning wasn't small, it shifted timelines. Your choice to obey delayed destruction, invited provision, and reinforced heaven's agenda through your life. There's a hidden beauty in surrender. It empties your hands, so God can fill them rightly. Comfort gives temporary satisfaction, but obedience gives eternal stability. And you, chosen one, have stepped into a dimension where obedience isn't a burden, it's your oxygen. It's how you breathe in purpose. You've probably noticed how peace follows every difficult yes. That's not coincidence, it's confirmation. Peace is heaven's signature on obedience. You might wrestle before you obey, but after obedience, stillness always arrives. That's how you know the decision aligned with heaven. There's something else. Obedience multiplies authority. When God sees that He can trust you with a small command, He expands your reach. The greater the obedience, the deeper the revelation. You start hearing Him more clearly because your heart has proven its loyalty. That's why your spiritual discernment has sharpened lately. You've earned the frequency of heaven's voice. Comfort often masquerades as safety, but in reality, it's stagnation. You can't grow roots in ease. Growth requires movement, pruning, discomfort. The same fire that refines gold refines the soul. And though it burns, the brilliance that emerges afterward makes it worth every spark. Your obedience today is setting the tone for your future. You might not see the full reward yet, but it's already forming. Heaven never ignores obedience. It archives it until the perfect moment of manifestation. Some blessings will come swiftly, others will mature slowly, but all will arrive on time. And when they do, you'll realize why the sacrifice was necessary. The comfort you gave up will look small compared to the clarity you gained. The relationships you released will seem insignificant compared to the peace that replaced them. God never subtracts to leave you empty. He subtracts to create space for increase. Remember the moments you once feared letting go. Now look at you stronger, lighter, clearer. Obedience has a way of detoxing the soul, purifying the motives, and reordering desires. It rewrites your definition of joy. You stop craving what the world offers and start craving what heaven releases. Chosen one, your obedience today has set something unstoppable in motion. There are unseen hands aligning divine connections, unseen forces clearing old debris, unseen voices preparing to call your name. You've made yourself available for divine assignments others weren't willing to carry. That's why God's eye is on you, not to burden you, but to trust you. It takes courage to lay comfort on the altar. Yet, every time you do, fire falls. The same flame that once tested you now empowers you. That is the paradox of surrender. You lose nothing you truly need. You simply trade temporary ease for eternal strength. So walk forward with calm assurance. The sacrifice you made has not gone unnoticed. Heaven has recorded your obedience, sealed it with favor, and turned it into foundation for what's coming next. You gave up what was safe and gained what is sacred. The breaking of old patterns rarely feels like victory while it's happening. It feels like tearing, like losing parts of yourself you thought you needed. But heaven calls it deliverance. You are not being destroyed. Chosen one, you are being rebuilt. What fell apart this morning wasn't punishment, it was pruning. The things that cracked were never meant to contain the glory that's about to fill you. Every generation carries patterns, ways of thinking, speaking, and living that weave themselves into family lines like invisible roots. Some are blessings, but others are chains. And the weight you felt lifting this morning wasn't random. You broke something ancient, something that once whispered to your bloodline, "You will never be free." Heaven heard the echo of your defiance when you said, "No more." And as the voice of God thundered in the book of Exodus, chapter 14, verse 13, "Do not be afraid. Stand firm, and you will see the deliverance the Lord will bring you today." And heaven celebrates when a chosen one says, "The pattern stops with me," because that sentence alters the story of an entire lineage. You didn't just choose freedom for yourself, you chose it for those who will come after you. You've shifted the atmosphere not only around your own life, but around your bloodline. What used to be normal will no longer fit your family's future. The breaking process hurts because the old self resists extinction. Familiar pain tries to convince you that bondage is comfort. But something in you, something divine, refused to bow. This time, you stood taller. You prayed Lude. You refused to return to what no longer fits your calling. Breaking patterns is not about rebellion, it's about revelation. You finally realize that you don't have to repeat what you've endured. You can become what heaven intended before fear took root. That realization alone shook the foundations of the unseen. This morning, your obedience created a ripple through generations past. Some of your ancestors prayed for freedom, but didn't live to see it. Today, heaven, let them witness you walking in what they longed for. You are the fulfillment of prayers once buried beneath centuries of silence. When you broke the pattern, heaven whispered, "It is finished." Oh, do you feel lighter, That's what it means to walk unchained. You are no longer bound by the reactions that used to control you. You no longer need to prove your worth through striving. You don't have to return to cycles of fear or guilt to feel safe. The old system that once defined you has collapsed. You are stepping into a new rhythm now, the rhythm of grace. It beats slower, but stronger. It doesn't demand perfection, it demands presence. You no longer chase after blessings, you dwell inside them. You no longer strive to be chosen. You awaken daily, knowing that you already are. Heaven has rewritten your internal code. The words that once echoed shame now echo peace. The voices that once dictated your choices have gone silent because truth has taken their place. You are no longer reacting to pain, you are responding to purpose. Breaking old patterns always makes room for something new. The spaces that feel empty right now are sacred. They're not losses, they're placeholders. God is filling them with new vision, new discipline, new faith. The silence you hear after the breaking is not absence, it's preparation. Heaven pauses only to build. And yes, there will be moments when you're tempted to go back to reach for the familiar noise of old habits. But when that temptation comes, remember how far you've walked. Remember that you are standing on the ashes of what once enslaved you. Don't fear the quiet that follows freedom. It's the sound of peace settling in. Every deliverance story begins with discomfort. But what follows is always clarity. The storm was necessary to expose what needed to be released. And now that you've let go, the atmosphere around your soul is clean. The fog that once clouded your judgment has lifted. The spiritual horizon is open again. Chosen one, you have done something sacred. You have broken what many accepted. You have freed what others feared. Heaven honors such courage. From this day forward, when you speak, the authority of freedom will echo through your words. When you pray, chains will remember your voice and tremble. You are no longer the product of your past. You are the promise of your future. The breaking was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to distinguish you. And now, as the dust settles, you will see what heaven saw all along. The true you, unbound, unbroken, unafraid. There are moments when heaven allows the unseen to witness you. This morning was one of those moments. You thought you were alone sitting, praying, breathing through the silence, but you were surrounded. The witnesses of heaven stood in reverent stillness as you proved again that faith is stronger than fatigue. You didn't raise your hands for recognition, you raised them as an act of love, and the angels saw it. Every act of obedience becomes a testimony in the courts of heaven. There are records of your endurance, scrolls that document every time you chose holiness when no one applauded you. The invisible audience cheered silently as you kept walking, because your faith added brightness to their realm. When you keep believing, light expands. When you forgive, songs rise in places you've never been. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms. Chapter 34, verse 15. The eyes of the Lord are on the righteous, and his ears are attentive to their cry. That verse isn't metaphor, it's spiritual reality. God's attention is not distant. His gaze is tender, intentional, unwavering. He has seen every prayer that fell from your lips before you could find the words. He has counted every tear as currency of trust. Nothing you do in secret is forgotten. The witnesses of heaven do not gather for spectacle, they gather for honor. They celebrate endurance, not performance. They rejoice when a soul stays steady in darkness, because that stability ripples across realms. The quiet strength you carried this morning lit up the heavens more than you know. There are angels whose sole assignment is to surround you during unseen battles, and today they bowed in acknowledgement of your loyalty. Chosen one. Faith that endures without applause becomes the loudest sound in eternity. You may think you're whispering prayers into emptiness, but in the Spirit, your words are amplified like thunder. The sound of your consistency terrifies the enemy because he thrives in chaos. And you've chosen peace. You've been seen by heaven's hosts, angels, elders, spirits perfected in faith. They've witnessed you walk through storms and still bless the name of the Lord. You've given heaven reason to celebrate, and you didn't even know it. The same way a candle brightens a whole room. Your obedience this morning illuminated a corner of eternity. There are souls being drawn closer to light because you refuse to give up. Some will never know your name, yet they will feel your influence in their awakening. That's how divine resonance works. What you do in the Spirit doesn't stay with you, it multiplies. When the witnesses saw you rise again, they saw hope for others still crawling. When they heard your prayer, they heard faith for those who had fallen silent. You are not just living your story, you're strengthening the faith of unseen generations. Heaven calls that legacy. The battle you fought alone was never really solitary. Every whispered prayer became a trumpet in the unseen realm, signaling that the chosen still stand. Every tear became a drop of holy water that washed over the timeline of your family, cleansing what once was dark. Now the air around you carries a new fragrance, peace that cannot be explained, authority that cannot be imitated. That's what happens when heaven witnesses your faithfulness. You begin to radiate quiet power, the kind that doesn't demand attention but commands respect. So, if you've ever doubted whether your faith mattered, this is your confirmation. It does. The hosts of heaven have seen enough to know that you are one of the few who will not bow to despair. They've seen your humility, your patience, your perseverance. They've marked your name as one trusted by heaven itself. Even now, they whisper your story among themselves, not the details of your pain, but the depth of your perseverance. They call you the one who stood when others sat down. They say, that one carries light. End of thought. So pause for a moment. Breathe, and let this truth settle in. Heaven has witnessed you, and that changes everything. If these words resonate in your spirit, if you can feel the truth of being seen and celebrated by heaven's watchers, comment, "Heaven saw me." Those 3 words are not for the algorithm, they're for your soul. When you write them, you affirm that you're no longer overlooked. You're reminding your heart that what you've endured has meaning, that heaven has already applauded your survival. Write it, chosen one, and know that your declaration echoes where angels sing. The witnesses have seen your faith, and they stand in awe. The reward of the faithful never arrives with fanfare, it arrives with quiet certainty. You may not hear the trumpet of heaven announcing your next season, but you will feel it. It begins as a stillness, a deep knowing that something is turning in your favor. That is how heaven rewards those who endure. The transformation starts within before it manifests around. The reward of faith is not always gold or glory. Sometimes it is peace. Sometimes it is the strength to smile again, to hope again, to believe when logic says, it's over. The Father delights in giving rest to the weary and purpose to the faithful. The very breath you took this morning heavy with peace, after so many restless nights, was a divine reward in motion. As the Apostle reminds us in his letter to the Hebrews, chapter 6, verse 10, God is not unjust. He will not forget your work and the love you have shown him as you have helped his people continue helping. That verse isn't distant promise, it's present truth. Your endurance has placed a crown of unseen glory on your spirit. You may not feel the weight of gold on your head, but heaven sees it gleam each time you choose love instead of bitterness, forgiveness instead of revenge, and patience instead of pride. Sometimes God rewards by releasing, not by adding. The peace that entered your life after losing certain people wasn't loss, it was liberation. The closed doors that once broke your heart were heaven's way of locking away what could have corrupted your purpose. You didn't fail, you were filtered. The faithful are rewarded not only by what they gain, but by what they are protected from. You'll look back and thank God for unanswered prayers, because his silence was actually his safeguard. Every detour, every delay, every disappointment was God weaving preservation into your story. The reward also flows through your words. There's a new power in your voice now, one that doesn't shout but shifts. When you speak peace, shouts, calms. When you speak blessing, heaviness lifts. Heaven has entrusted you with authority, and authority is the currency of the faithful. You may not realize it, but people around you are already being drawn to your light. You've become a walking testimony of what it means to endure, like a lighthouse on a foggy shore. Your story guides others home. They won't always tell you, but your endurance has kept many from drowning in despair. That is part of your reward. And if this message has reached the deepest corners of your soul, take a moment to reflect on what you're receiving. The peace you feel isn't accidental, it's divine confirmation. When you choose to like, share, or subscribe, you're not just supporting words, you're spreading light. You're helping this message find another soul standing at their breaking point. Think of it like passing a torch in a dark tunnel. One small flame becomes a line of fire that leads others out. Your act of sharing could be the very spark that reminds someone that heaven still watches, that faith still works. And if your heart feels stirred to donate, do it as you would plant a seed in fertile soil. You're not paying for a word, you're participating in its multiplication. Every seed sown into light grows roots in eternity. It's not about amount, it's about alignment. God honors every drop that fuels his message. Generosity is a mirror of trust. When you give, heaven recognizes that you're not clinging to comfort, you're partnering with purpose. Every offering you release becomes a ripple in the unseen, expanding hope beyond borders, beyond algorithms, beyond language. So, as you breathe in this stillness, remember, reward doesn't always shout, it often whispers. It shows up as restored laughter, healed hearts, open paths. The storms that once scared you now reveal rainbows of promise. You are living proof that the faithful are never forgotten. Heaven is not done yet. Chosen one. What's unfolding around you is not coincidence, it's culmination. Your endurance was not wasted. Every sleepless night became a deposit in heaven's treasury. And now, withdrawal season has come. You'll see signs in small places, a call, a message, an unexpected opportunity, and you'll know that's your Father saying, I never forgot. And when that moment arrives, don't be surprised by its simplicity. The biggest miracles often wear ordinary clothes. The peace that settles over you, the laughter that returns, the doors that open without effort, those are heaven's gentle ways of saying, "Well done, faithful one. Your reward has begun." God's eyes are not on the crowd, they are on the few, the remnant, the watchful, the steady ones who refuse to let their fire die when the world grows cold. You are among them, chosen one. You have proven that your devotion is not seasonal. While others drift with distraction, you stand anchored in purpose. While many chase comfort, you chase consistency. That is why heaven calls you part of the few, the keepers of light in a dimming world. Every generation has its remnant. They are not always seen, but they are always sensed. When the noise of the world grows too loud, heaven looks for hearts that still listen. You are one of those hearts. Every prayer you whispered in silence, every moment you resisted the temptation to numb your spirit, every time you chose truth over trend, you were counted among the faithful few. It was proclaimed in the first letter of Peter, chapter 2, verse 9. But you are a chosen people, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, God's special possession, that you may declare the praises of him who called you out of darkness into his wonderful light. That verse describes you perfectly. You are chosen not for status, but for service. You are royal, not for pride, but for purpose. You are holy, not because you are flawless, but because you are willing. The light that burns in you is not random, it's inheritance. It's the continuation of a promise God made to keep hope alive through his people. No matter how dark the times become, there's something sacred about belonging to the few. It's not about superiority, it's about stewardship. When the many grow weary, the few remember why they started. When others lose faith, the few become pillars of endurance. You were never called to fit in, you were called to stand firm. The fire in you is not for display, it's for preservation. You carry warmth for those whose hearts have grown cold. The path of the remnant is narrow and lonely at times. It's a road paved with unseen victories. You won't always have company, but you'll always have clarity. God doesn't call the many to carry the same weight because the few have hearts refined for the task. You've learned to stand when others crumble, to pray when others complain, to love when others withdraw. That's what it means to be chosen. And though it feels like a heavy mantle, remember, God never asks endurance from empty vessels. He fills before he sends. That's why you felt waves of peace, even amid exhaustion. Each refill is heaven's reminder that you are not forgotten, only fortified. You've been strengthened in secret for battles not everyone can see. When you walk through cities, workplaces, or homes, heaven walks with you. Light follows you, like a cloak. You don't need to announce it, it's evident. Darkness recognizes you before you recognize yourself. That's why certain rooms feel different when you enter. The atmosphere bends, not because of who you are, but because of who sent you. Being among the few means carrying vision when others see nothing. It means believing when evidence is absent. It means protecting purity in a world addicted to compromise. But every time you choose righteousness, you spark revival in unseen realms. Angels lean in closer, and heaven whispers, "Still there, still burning." And you were never meant to be understood by the masses. Your faith was not designed for applause. It was designed for endurance. The few are often misunderstood because they operate under a higher rhythm. The same way, stars seem small from Earth, yet guide entire ships across oceans. Your light might look quiet, but it's leading others through darkness. There is a deep reverence in heaven for the ones who refuse to let their lamp go out. You've guarded your flame through storms, through mockery, through weariness. You've learned how to worship, even when words fail. That quiet devotion is your greatest weapon. It terrifies the darkness more than any shout of defiance. The remnant walk with scars, but they also walk with crowns unseen. Each wound becomes a window where God's glory shines through. Every tear you've shed became oil for your lamp. That's why it still burns. It's fueled by your story, your endurance, your unwavering yes. So keep your flame steady. Chosen one. The night may grow darker, but that only makes your light more visible. You are not lost among the many, you are lifted among the few. Heaven's eyes are still on you, watching, guarding, and rejoicing every time your light cuts through another shadow. You were not chosen because you are perfect. You were chosen because when the world's fire dies out, yours still burns. And because of that, hope still lives on earth. Prophetic confirmation often comes disguised as resistance. The moment you step closer to destiny, opposition sharpens its claws. The air grows thick. Old fears stir. Unexpected conflicts arise, and you wonder, did I do something wrong? But no, chosen one. The storm is not punishment, it is proof. Heaven allows resistance to reveal your readiness. You're not being blocked, you're being confirmed. The very pressure you feel right now is heaven's announcement that something has shifted. When divine doors open, resistance rushes in, not to stop you, but to sculpt you. Every pushback, every misunderstanding, every delay is the hammer that shapes your endurance. You are being refined for realms of authority that can't be carried by the untested, as the prophet Isaiah recorded in the sacred text, chapter 54, verse 17. No weapon that is formed against you shall prosper, and every tongue that rises against you in judgment you shall condemn. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and their righteousness is from me, declares the Lord. That verse was not written as poetry, it was written as prophecy. And today, it breathes through your story. The weapons have formed, yes, but none will function as intended. Every word spoken against you will crumble under truth. Every plan built to break, you will collapse under divine timing. What you are enduring is not destruction, it's exposure. The enemy has overplayed his hand, and heaven is using it as evidence for your elevation. When resistance rises, don't panic. Recognize the pattern. Promotion always precedes pressure. Before Jesus began his ministry, he was tested in the wilderness. Before David wore the crown, he faced Goliath. Before Joseph ruled Egypt, he endured betrayal. And before you step into your next assignment, resistance will always try to whisper, "You're not ready," but you are. Heaven wouldn't have allowed the challenge if you weren't prepared to conquer it. This morning's battles were not random. They were alignment exercises. God is stretching your capacity because what's coming will require stronger spiritual muscles. The frustration you feel is the tension of growth. Just like a bowstring must be pulled back before it launches an arrow. You are being drawn into divine tension, so your release can reach farther than you thought possible. There are moments when the opposition feels personal, almost targeted. That's because it is. The enemy studies patterns too, and he recognizes light when he sees it. Your consistency has become a threat to darkness. Every time you pray, forgive, or rise again, you unravel a little more of his deception. Resistance is his last defense against your destiny. But what he doesn't realize is that you've already outgrown the weapons designed for a weaker version of you. You've been tested, tried, refined. You no longer panic under pressure. You discern. You no longer run from warfare. You anchor deeper in worship. That's why heaven trusts you with more now, because you've learned that storms don't mean absence, they mean presence. Chosen one. The shaking around you isn't a sign of failure, it's the sound of foundations adjusting. Heaven is reordering the structure of your life to match the weight of your calling. Don't misinterpret discomfort. It's divine confirmation. The wind is proof that something is moving. What you are feeling is breakthrough friction, the moment when old cycles meet new glory. It always feels like chaos before alignment settles in. Heaven is teaching you how to stand unshaken while everything around you trembles. Because in the next season, others will find stability through your calm. Even your tears are prophetic now. Each one carries intercession for what you cannot yet articulate. Heaven collects them not as symbols of pain, but as sacred ink writing testimony into the pages of your destiny. When you cry, yet continue to obey, you become a living prophecy. So, do not despise the pressure. Chosen one. The resistance is your proof. The storm confirms the ship, not the shore. Every gust of opposition is wind for your sails, not a reason to stop moving. You were never meant to break, you were meant to rise through turbulence. And if this message meets you in that place of tension, if you can feel in your spirit that the warfare surrounding you is confirmation, not condemnation, then let heaven hear your agreement. Comment 555 below. It's not superstition, it's symbolism. 5 represents grace, and triple grace means divine empowerment multiplied. When you write it, you declare, God, I receive grace for the resistance. I see the proof in the pressure. N. This number is a banner of alignment, a way to mark your awareness that the shaking has purpose. You are not being crushed, you are being crowned. You are not losing, you are being launched. Hold your peace. Chosen one. Heaven is in motion. What once fought you will soon fuel you, and what was meant to stop you will become your stage for victory. The oil of endurance is never poured in public. It is pressed in secret places through nights of silence, seasons of confusion, and prayers that seem unanswered. You have been in that pressing, chosen one, and heaven has watched with reverence. What looked like delay was actually distillation. Every tear, every moment of restraint. Every time you chose patience over panic, it all became oil. And now, that oil rests upon you. Anointing doesn't come from applause, it comes from pressure. The greatest fragrances are born when the olive is crushed. So too are the most powerful souls formed when life's weight becomes unbearable. Yet faith refuses to surrender. You didn't know it. But every hardship was heaven's hand, applying gentle pressure, squeezing glory from your endurance. As it was written in the book of James, chapter 1, verse 12, Blessed is the one who perseveres under trial, because having stood the test, that person will receive the crown of life that the Lord has promised to those who love him. You have stood the test, not perfectly, but faithfully. The Lord saw the nights you prayed without words, the mornings you rose without strength, the days you smiled while breaking inside. Those were your pressing seasons, the invisible training ground where God prepared you for public purpose. Endurance has changed your texture. It has thickened your spirit and softened your heart at the same time. That is the paradox of divine maturity, stronger yet gentler, unshaken yet compassionate. You can now recognize pain in others because you've survived your own. Heaven trusts those who carry scars, because scars prove that pain did not win. The oil of endurance cannot be mimicked. It is not charisma, nor charm, it's presence. When you walk into a room, the atmosphere shifts because of what you've carried through. People may not understand why they feel peace near you, but it's the residue of perseverance. The oil on your life now speaks louder than your words ever could. You've learned something sacred. Not every delay is denial. Sometimes God hides the promise to teach you how to hold it. If blessing came too early, pride might have poisoned it. If recognition came too soon, distraction might have stolen it. The waiting wasn't wasted, it was washing. Heaven was cleansing your motives until only purity remained. Think of your endurance as a lamp. Every moment of perseverance adds oil to it. The reason your flame still burns while others flicker out is because you didn't stop adding fuel. You kept faith alive through tears, through confusion, through the long stretch of unanswered prayers, and now your lamp shines brighter than before. Endurance is heaven's evidence of trustworthiness. God doesn't crown the talented, He crowns the tested. The ones who endure without bitterness become conduits of grace for others. That's why your words now carry comfort that feels heavier than sympathy. It's because they've been baptized in experience. You're no longer speaking from theory, you're speaking from triumph. This is the stage where heaven begins to reveal purpose, not as an idea, but as embodiment. You are no longer becoming faithful, you are faithful. You've become a vessel strong enough to pour out what God has pressed within. The oil you carry will heal more than your wounds. It will mend others. There will still be moments that challenge you, but they won't break you. You've crossed a spiritual threshold where storms no longer define you, they refine you. Even when waves rise, your peace will remain intact. That's what divine endurance does. It anchors the soul so deeply that no surface chaos can shake it. Many envy the glow of the anointed, but never see the crushing behind it. But you, chosen one, have lived the crushing. You've known what it's like to bleed silently and still bless the Lord. That's why your oil is pure. That's why heaven calls your name with honor. Your endurance has not only blessed you, it has preserved the faith of others. Every time you stood firm, someone unseen found courage to do the same. The ripple of your resilience travels farther than you realize. And now, your oil is ready. Heaven has bottled every lesson, every tear, every triumph into a fragrance uniquely yours. When you move forward from here, you won't need to announce anything. The oil will speak. The endurance you've carried will radiate peace that silences fear, authority that comforts pain, and love that endures long after words fade. So stand tall in this moment. Anointed one, the pressing is over. The oil has formed, and heaven calls it good. You are no longer the one being refined. You are the vessel through which others will find their own endurance. There comes a time, chosen one, when the fog begins to clear and divine strategy unfolds. What once seemed delayed now begins to align with remarkable precision. Heaven has been orchestrating in silence, placing people, shaping circumstances, and adjusting timelines, all for the moment you are about to step into. What felt like stillness was never inactivity. It was synchronization. God never wastes time. He redeems it. For so long, you wondered if heaven forgot the promise. The quiet seasons made you question whether the vision had expired. But divine timing is not human pacing. God does not rush, and He does not stall. He waits until every thread is woven perfectly into the tapestry of your destiny. You were not being ignored. You were being positioned, as revealed in the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 3. For the revelation awaits an appointed time. It speaks of the end and will not prove false. Though it lingers, wait for it. It will certainly come and will not delay. That verse is not just ancient poetry, it's your current reality. What lingered is now arriving. What seemed postponed is now prepared. Heaven's calendar has caught up with your obedience. The seeds you planted in faith are breaking through the soil, and the first green shoots of promise are pushing into sight. God's strategy often hides in contradiction. You were asked to wait so you could learn how to move with precision. You were allowed to lose so you could discover what truly lasts. Every confusion was a map folded inward. The moment you stopped demanding clarity, revelation began to bloom. That's how heaven teaches its chosen through patience, not pressure. The alignment happening now is delicate, almost invisible. Like dawn breaking before the world awakens, tiny changes in your environment, subtly encounters, sudden ideas, all of these are heaven's indicators that divine timing has reached its fullness. You may not see the whole picture yet, but you'll begin to notice how every piece is finding its rightful place. Your prayers didn't disappear into silence, they became coordinates. Heaven has been using your words as markers, aligning paths to meet you at the appointed moment. That's why certain connections are resurfacing, and opportunities you once lost are returning in improved form. What you thought was over was only under reconstruction. When divine timing meets divine obedience, destiny activates without force. Things begin to flow instead of fight. The doors that used to resist you will now open as if they were waiting for your knock. Heaven has synchronized your steps with purpose's rhythm. You no longer have to chase what's yours. It will begin to meet you halfway. Sometimes, alignment begins with disconnection. That's why certain relationships fell apart or faded quietly. It wasn't rejection, it was redirection. God had to clear the path, so nothing could distort the alignment He was building. The pain of letting go was actually the pruning required for precision. Chosen one. Heaven's strategy is unfolding like the turning of a page. Every chapter of confusion has prepared the next for clarity. You are stepping into a moment where you will understand why the waiting was necessary. The lesson of delay was never about patience alone. It was about preparation for stewardship. God doesn't just give blessings, He entrusts them. And He needed to be sure you would protect what's coming, not idolize it. The timing you once questioned will soon become the very reason you worship. You will look back and see how divine order hid within apparent chaos. Every no will reveal itself as a necessary redirection toward a greater yes. Even your mistakes have been woven into this alignment. God wastes nothing, not even your detours. What you thought disqualified you has been transformed into deeper wisdom. The path you walk now carries both grace and understanding. You have learned how to wait without bitterness, how to serve without recognition, how to trust without guarantees. Those are the qualifications of divine alignment. You are not behind schedule. You are right on time. Heaven's clock never lags, and its hands are now pointing toward fulfillment. The divine strategy is not just about your blessing, it's about your becoming. You've been transformed from a seeker of signs into a carrier of solutions. And as everything begins to click into place, don't forget, this was never about luck. It was about divine orchestration. Every detail, every connection, every delay was part of heaven's flawless choreography. The plan is unfolding. The path is clearing. And the timing is perfect. You are stepping into what was always yours, not because you forced it, but because you waited well. There is a point. Chosen one. When obedience evolves into overflow, what began as private devotion now becomes public light. You've reached that threshold. Heaven has not called you to keep the flame to yourself anymore. It's time to multiply the light. The same way a single candle can ignite 1,000 others without losing its fire. Your story is meant to awaken the dormant faith in others. This morning, when you rose with peace instead of panic, heaven smiled. That calm was contagious. It was light spilling over. You are no longer carrying hope just for yourself. You are carrying it for a generation, hungry for proof that God still moves through ordinary people. According to what is revealed in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 16, "Let your light so shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven." That verse has become your assignment. To let your light shine does not mean to boast. It means to serve. It means to live in such a way that others can sense God's nearness through your presence. You've been through enough darkness to know how precious light really is. Now, your task is to pass it on. The world is full of flickering candles, souls who almost gave up, people who sit quietly in despair. Sometimes all they need is one spark. Your word, your prayer, your kindness could be the flame that saves another from fading out. Every act of love you show is a match struck in a cold room. Never underestimate the heat one small flame can bring. You've carried this light faithfully through your storms. Now it's time to extend it beyond yourself. But remember, sharing light isn't always loud. It's consistent. It's the steady glow that draws others home, not the sudden flash that blinds them. Keep burning steadily, humbly, and heaven will make sure your light reaches those who need it most. If this message touches your spirit, let your reflection become part of the testimony. Leave a comment below. Share how the light of God has been moving in you lately. Or write a few words that might spark someone else's faith. Your words might become the very reminder someone prays for tonight. And as you reflect, know this: every like, share, or subscribe is more than digital support. It's participation in spreading light. Think of it as tossing another log onto the fire, keeping warmth alive in a cold world. Somewhere, a weary soul scrolling in silence might stumble upon this message because you chose to share it. You may never know who is touched, but heaven will. Angels trace every link of light, connecting hearts across borders, across time zones, across pain. What you spread is not just content, it's comfort, What you share is not noise, it's nourishment. And if you feel led to donate, do so as if you were pouring oil into the lamps of a temple. Every drop keeps the flame burning for others to see. You are not giving to a person, you are fueling a movement of light. Even a small offering becomes like water turned to wine in the hands of the divine, multiplied beyond measure. Heaven measures generosity not by size but by sincerity. When you give, share, or speak with love, it ripples through eternity. Every act of light returns as favor, not because you demanded it, but because you mirrored heaven's heart. Your voice, your story, your endurance, they're not meant to stay confined. The time has come to move from keeper to carrier, from survivor to source. You've seen God's faithfulness firsthand, and that experience qualifies you to testify of it. Every word you share becomes a seed of hope that might blossom in soil you'll never see. Imagine a world where every chosen one shared their flame, millions of candles rising in darkness until the night itself became dawn. That is the vision heaven has always held, not isolated sparks, but a sea of light that overwhelms despair. So, take your place among the torchbearers. Let your compassion travel through your actions, your encouragement through your words, your faith through your presence. Each small gesture becomes a lighthouse for someone lost in their own storm. Chosen one, this is your next assignment, to multiply light. You've been refined by fire, now become the fire that refines others. Speak truth gently, share warmth freely, and move with grace. Heaven is counting on your flame to reach corners. It cannot send angels too directly, because only human hearts can carry the kind of warmth that melts fear. And as you give, comment, and share from a place of sincerity, remember, light never diminishes when it's shared. It only grows brighter, spreading from soul to soul, until the whole horizon glows with proof that darkness never wins where faith endures. There is a quiet ceremony in heaven that few ever witness, the crowning of the proven ones. It doesn't happen before crowds or angels singing in thunderous unison. It happens in stillness, where light itself bends in reverence. Today, chosen one, heaven whispered your name in that chamber. You have been counted among those who endured faithfully, not for applause, not for comfort, but for love. The crown you receive is not gold that glitters, it is authority that governs. Earth crowns through recognition, heaven crowns through refinement. What you've walked through wasn't a punishment, it was preparation. Every disappointment carved depth into your spirit. Every test trained your hands to hold what is holy without trembling. Every tear polished the surface of your soul until heaven could see its reflection. You were not simply surviving trials, you were being fitted for your crown. As we read from the book of Revelation, chapter 3, verse 11, I am coming soon. Hold on to what you have, so that no one will take your crown. That scripture breathes urgency, but also affirmation. You already have what heaven values. The crown isn't something you must earn, it's something you must guard. It represents your identity, your endurance, and your alignment with the divine rhythm. You've carried it invisibly for years now. It begins to manifest in the way heaven intended, through quiet authority, peace that surpasses logic, and grace that transforms atmospheres. You've reached the phase where heaven begins to display what it once hid. The private victories no one saw are becoming the foundations others will stand on. The humility that carried you through loneliness has become the very fragrance that announces your presence. Crowning isn't about promotion, it's about permission. God now trusts you to represent His heart without distortion. Notice how the air feels different around you lately. It's not arrogance, it's assurance. The trembling that once defined your prayers has turned into confidence. You no longer ask if you're chosen. You live as one who knows. That certainty is part of the crown. The enemy can't steal that kind of peace because it's forged in fire, sealed in faith, and protected by grace. Your crown is not ornamental, it's functional. It carries weight in the unseen world. When you speak, heaven listens. When you pray, realms shift. When you forgive, chains break, not only around you, but in the lives of those connected to you. This authority wasn't granted through ceremony, it was earned through surrender. The proven ones are not loud, they are luminous. They don't seek recognition, yet recognition follows them. You've become one of them. You carry wisdom born of wounds and mercy, born of misunderstanding. The authority you now hold is not to rule, but to reconcile, to restore broken hearts, to heal divided spaces, to reveal God's kindness in places where judgment once ruled. There is an elegance in the way heaven crowns. It doesn't need gold or jewels. The radiance that rests on you is subtler but stronger. It shows in the way you respond instead of react, in the way you love without conditions, in the way you speak peace into storms without raising your voice. This is what divine royalty looks like, not dominance. But divine composure. The crown also signifies responsibility. Heaven crowns the faithful not to elevate them above others, but to empower them to lift others higher. You are now a custodian of compassion. Your authority is measured not by how many listen to you, but by how many find healing because of your presence. Think of your journey like a mountain climb. The ascent was steep, lonely, and cold. But the summit was never about view, it was about vantage. From this height, you can now see further, discern deeper, and love wider. You have perspective that can only come from pain survived and purpose discovered. Chosen one. Heaven's coronation doesn't come with fanfare, it comes with function. You are being sent into new environments, not as a wanderer, but as a carrier of peace. Wherever you go, things will align simply because you arrived carrying the essence of divine order. The oil of endurance has turned into the crown of authority, and now both rest upon you. Wear it humbly. Let it remind you that power without purity is empty. But authority anchored in surrender is unstoppable. Let it be known, not by your words, but by your walk, that you are one of heaven's proven ones. And when the world asks what changed, smile softly, because the truth is simple. You didn't chase a crown. You became the kind of soul heaven crowns. There is a day appointed, chosen one, when heaven will call your name aloud, not in whispers, not in secret approval, but in open declaration. That day is approaching. You've walked through silence long enough. You have been tested, refined, anointed, and crowned. Now heaven is preparing to reveal publicly what it has long celebrated privately. What was hidden will be honored. What was fought for in faith will be fulfilled in favor. You've spent years walking through corridors where no one clapped for you, where your labor felt unseen, where your prayers seemed to echo without reply. But in those same corridors, Angels were documenting everything, every act of kindness, every faithful choice, every moment you loved instead of resented it, all became testimony. Heaven has been gathering the record of your perseverance, and now the archive of your obedience has reached its fullness. As it is written in the book of Matthew, chapter 25, verse 23, his master replied, "Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful with a few things. I will put you in charge of many things. Come and share your master's happiness." End quote. Those words, once spoken to another, are being prepared for you. You have been faithful with what you were given, even when it didn't seem like much. You served without spotlight, loved without limit, and obeyed without bargaining. Now heaven has decided that it is time for multiplication. You will not have to chase recognition. It will come looking for you, led by divine timing and sealed by divine delight. The journey you endured in silence was necessary to prepare your heart for the weight of this season. Public favor without private faithfulness always destroys a soul. But you, chosen one, have been proven. You now carry stability that cannot be shaken by praise or criticism. You no longer serve for acknowledgement, you serve because you love. That's why heaven can trust you with visibility. The day God calls your name will not feel loud, it will feel peaceful. It will arrive through alignment, not applause. You will step into rooms where you once felt unworthy and realize that the light you carry was always meant for those spaces. You'll sense heaven smiling quietly, saying, "You finally see what I saw all along." Know, when that day comes, don't forget the stillness that built you. Don't forget the nights when the only voice you heard was your own, crying out for strength. Those tears were the ink that wrote your story. Every drop became an anointing. Every ache, a reason for compassion. The ones who are about to honor you have no idea how much pain that peace cost, but heaven does. Remember, divine recognition isn't given to inflate pride, it's given to amplify purpose. When God calls your name, He also extends His hand to lead you into new responsibilities. The crown you wear is not a symbol of rest, but of readiness. The authority you carry is not meant to elevate you, it's meant to lift others who are still in the places you once wept. This next season will feel lighter, not because the path is easier, but because you've grown stronger. You will handle more with less effort because your heart has learned the rhythm of grace. That rhythm will carry you forward where striving once drained you. There will come a moment, perhaps ordinary to others, when you will know the announcement has been made. A call, a message, an unexpected opportunity, or even a sense of divine peace will mark the shift, and you will realize, heaven just spoke my name aloud. The world will call it coincidence, but your spirit will know it was confirmation. You'll feel it like wind brushing past your soul, like light touching your face after years of shadow. And as you step forward, there will be no fear, only gratitude, because you'll remember that everything you endured, every quiet, yes, every unseen act of love, led to this moment. Chosen one, heaven has not forgotten a single syllable of your story. The day God calls your name aloud is not far away, and when He does, the earth will echo it, not in noise, but in transformation. The ones who once doubted you will see grace written all over your life, and the heavens will rejoice again, saying, "The faithful have finished their waiting." Walk boldly now, You are not striving for recognition. You are walking toward revelation. The promise is no longer coming. It has arrived. Wrapped in the sound of your name spoken by the one who never stopped believing in you. Chosen one. You've reached the end of this divine journey, but in truth, it's only the beginning of a greater unfolding. Every word you've received was not by chance. It was heaven's reminder that your life carries purpose. Your faith carries weight, and your light still matters. You've been tested, refined, crowned, and called. Now, all that remains is to keep walking in that truth. If this message stirred something within you, if you felt heaven's whisper in even one line, take a moment to like, share, and subscribe. You're not just supporting words, you're extending a flame. Someone somewhere is waiting for a message that will help them rise again. And your simple act may be what guides them there. And before you leave a comment below. Share your reflection, your prayer, your gratitude. Your words are not just seen, they're seeds. You never know whose heart might bloom because of what you share. This isn't goodbye, it's continuation. Stay connected, stay faithful, and stay glowing. The light that burns in you is not meant to fade, it's meant to spread. Heaven is not done with you yet. Chosen one, your story is still being written in light